As the name may suggest, call centers rely on telephony. And that's one of the probably most basic needs that call center have. If you are going to set up a call center, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find some telephones and a telephone system. You know, probably you need some desks, you might need some chairs, you may need some agents, but it's not going to work without any telephones. So the received wisdom to date has been that if you need a telephone system, you need to go to somebody that provides telephone systems. That's logical. So there were the big players in the market, the Vias, the Ciscos, the Mitels of this world that provide telephone systems. And the misconception here was that a telephone system is a telephone system. It's a PBX, whatever you called it in the past. It's a big box in a corner with flashing lights, and you've got telephones on the desks, headsets. Brilliant, it's a call center. I can recognize it now. Now, there is a little bit of trickery here that the big telephony system manufacturers have used in the past. They had their telephone systems. Their telephone system were designed for offices. So I mentioned some names, the Avaya, the Mitels, the Ciscos. What they actually designed, whenever the systems were designed in the 60s, 70s, 80s, were actually to put a telephone on people's desks in offices. Now, roll forward 10, 20 years, and they're looking for new markets for these systems. And they are trying to, the obvious market for them is call centers because they need telephone systems. So therefore, the term has been translated into call centers. However, call centers possibly didn't need about 80% of what these telephone systems did. But they had to buy them because that's the received wisdom. Now, to give you some examples, call center agents don't usually need voicemail. They don't need flashing lights on their phones. They don't need 100 buttons on their telephones. They don't need that. All they need is a headset and calls coming to them. Usually, the telephone itself is controlled from a screen anyway through computer telephony integration. So, in many ways, what happened was that huge budgets were spent on buying a telephone system because you need one, don't you? And there was very little left for luxuries such as proper software for the contact center. So we ended up, as a software company, always in the position that we were next in queue after the big boys from big telephone system companies arrived and sold, and there was no money left on the table for us. What has happened in the last few years is that the telephony market has changed. With the arrival of cloud and the arrival of SIP telephony, suddenly telephony has become a commodity. People have started asking, hang on a second, why do I have these massive phones on my agent's desktop when they're actually not using them? Now, this is a question that nobody from the big companies could ever answer. So, we saw an opportunity here. We saw an opportunity of actually turning the whole thing on its head. Because in the past you were actually forced to buy an office telephone system, back office telephone system, that would sort of masquerade as a contact center telephony system. What we said, we're going to design a contact center telephony system that doesn't do office. It just does contact center. Right? That is something that so far, as I'm aware, did not really exist. So we are not going for the market of putting telephony in people's offices. We are going for the market of putting telephony in contact centers. And as such, we have the ability to sell this at a fraction of the cost that a telephony system, a traditional telephony system, costs. Sometimes we even throw it in for people who actually acquire significant amounts of our software. So telephony, therefore, has become a sort of commodity that does not justify the sort of 5 or 6 figure sums that the big telephony companies tended to charge for their systems, for the upgrades, for the maintenance. So we're seeing a shift in the market. I think we can capitalize on that. We can deliver now our Noetica voice platform on premise, in a data center, hosted in the cloud, wherever you need it, and it is just another element of what we do. And in most cases, it's just a sort of afterthought rather than becoming the big expense that is perhaps followed by software. So we are trying to capitalize on this change in attitude towards telephony, which we believe could open the market for us for actually selling the software solutions, which are really the productivity generating tools in contact centers.